Get the share up. Okay, can everybody see my screen?
Yep.
Yeah, we're good. All right, welcome everyone to Salt Project Community Open Hour for Thursday, April 6th. Glad you could all make it. Big stuff today. Really excited. Got a really cool demo happening for you today. Here's where you can find us. Salt Project Community. The Salt Project Community is everywhere. You can find us on GitHub, YouTube, Slack, Twitch, Reddit, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter, and of course the Hacks Podcast, which is available anywhere and everywhere you download your podcasts. Here's what's going on today. More about RC3 testing. We'll talk about that briefly. Our good friend Nick Hughes is still working on the Salt Project user group meetups. We'll check in with Thomas Phipps and see what's going on in the community forums. And then Shane Lee, our good friend Shane Lee, is going to give us a demo on installing RC3 on Windows and Linux. So that's and then your questions, of course. So let's get right to it. If I can get this thing to work, it's frozen up. Oh, good. Let me see if I can fix this here. I don't know why it's frozen up. Oh no. Well, this is bad. Let's try it again here. No. Let's see. Well, okay. Give me 1 second here, and we'll give it a shot. See if we can see what the problem is. Sorry about that, friends. Let's just go this way.
Be an open hour if there wasn't a problem with PowerPoint.
It's just it's PowerPoint and Zoom and everything else. Thank you, Gareth. Yeah, open hour every first and third Thursday, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Pacific time. Our next Salt Project Community Open Hour is going to be on April 20th, of course. So please make a note of it. Salt Project working groups are still a thing, and we still want you. We'd invite you to join us for a variety of different Salt Project working groups. You can learn more about that at saltproject.io/home/working, or just go to saltproject.io, and they're right there for you. Okay, so moving right along, if I can get things are really not working well here. RC3 is out and has been out for a couple of days, and we are still needing you for testing. Yeah, this means you. If you're watching this on YouTube, if you're here in the group right now, we need bug hunters. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to bribe you straight up. We're going to give you some swag if you find some bugs in RC3. Find a bug, we're going to throw you a Salt Project hat. You find 2, we're going to give you a Salt Project tumbler or water bottle. You find 3, we're going to throw you a Salt Project hoodie and/or the really cool Salt Project Tech headphone case. So if you want to see these things for yourself, just go to the Salty store. You can take a look at them there. And when you find the bugs, please report them to me, report them to any of your Salt core team members, and I'm sure they'll pass along to me that you have found a bug, and we'll lace you up with some free goodies. Salt Project user group meetups are happening. Single day events, speakers, recorded sessions, food, networking, lots of fun. Thank you, Nick Hughes, for being the guy that's putting this together. If you would like to know more, if you'd like to participate, which of course you do, go to spugum.com. That's SPUGM. That's spugum.com, and get more information there. And thank you again to Nick Hughes for putting these things together. Let's send it over to Thomas Phipps and find out what's happening from the community forums. Thomas, the time is yours, sir.
Thank you. Not much really going on. Lots of testing. But one of the questions that came across was somebody trying to push large files through the Salt file server. And the best recommendation is don't even put them on the file server. It slows things down immensely. It's not an optimized file server. It's not even technically a real file system. So find better methods such as using HTTP, FTP, rsync, in an FS share that you pull the files from locally. These are much better, much older, better designed file servers. The Salt file server is optimized for running states through it. So it's not even really designed for lots of files either. So things like file.rsync, when you have hundreds of thousands of files, could take minutes to parse the entire tree. So just a heads up, be careful with large files.
Very good. If you do you have anything else for Thomas, or is that it?
And there was a discussion this morning about Watchdog versus iNotify, which the general case is iNotify is Linux only, Watchdog is operating system agnostic. So if you have a whole bunch of operating systems, go with Watchdog. If you are only on Linux and you specifically like working directly with iNotify, use iNotify, but Watchdog is probably just going to be better in the long run for your beacon.
Okay, got it. Thank you, sir. If you have any questions for Thomas, again, we'll approach those in the Q&A session, which is coming up right after our demo with Shane Lee. First of all, Shane, let's give him a round of applause for being willing to do a demo for us. Excellent. Thank you, sir. Much appreciated. The time is yours, Mr. Lee.
Thank you, Chunga. As I was looking at this slide 15 minutes ago, I noticed that it said Windows, so I threw together a quick Windows demo as well. I'll start with that one because the Linux stuff takes a little bit longer for me.
Okay, I'm going to stop sharing. Do you need to share?
I did want to say something here. I'm just going to follow the salt install guide for good or bad. Okay, so this will be instructive for whoever's in charge of our docs. So let me share my screen here. Hopefully you can all see that.
Yeah, we got you. Looks great.
Popping up no thanks. Okay. All right. So I just want to start out by searching for salt install guide and see what pops up here. Okay. Got a salt install guide here. Now I want to learn how to install the RC. And the first thing I noticed is I couldn't find instructions on how to install the RC until I had to scroll to the left here. I had to make it bigger, then it shows up right here. Okay, and then I have install release candidate instructions there. Okay, and I have it squished over so I can fit everything on the screen. So anyway, so we're going to do Windows first. So it says to get your package here. So I click on RC and I see this first link. It's kind of confusing. That's not 3006 RC, that's 3005. So let's maybe look in here. And I think I want Pi 3, Windows, and then I have 3006, so I can look packages here. So I'm just going to download. I think this first one is the Nullsoft installer. Let's do that one. Let me put it in downloads. All right, so it's downloaded. And I have I spun a VM up real quick. I'm going to copy this here. Come on, copy. I'm going to paste it into my VM. It's right here on the desktop. Maybe. You can try that again. Let's really copy this time, maybe. There we go. So this is a server 2022 box that I just had salt on it. I just uninstalled it. So here's our installer. Let's see what happens. This is like totally untested. This is like demo that I haven't gone through. So See how it goes. I don't know why it's thinking so hard. There we go. Just gonna click through the setup here. Accept all the defaults. I wonder if it's Zoom. Does Zoom make this slow?
I think Mercury's in retrograde or something like that. Everything's kind of acting wonky today.
Never seen it lag like this. Just anyway, it's unzipping everything. We made an improvement in 3006. At the end of the install, it used to do like a dir/s of everything and to try to calculate the size of what was installed. And now we do that when we create the package instead of after we've installed the package, so that you don't have to wait another minute for it to calculate the size so that it shows up right in the add remove programs. So this should actually install faster than normal. All right, it stopped right away. I'm not going to start the minion because I don't have a master up for this to connect to. Oh, good. That's why I've launched a bunch of those. Okay, so now we're just going to test to make sure it's there. Do a version, see what we got. First time Salt runs, it kind of has to create all the PyC files, so it takes a little bit. But there we go. We got 3006.0 RC3 installed. I could even do a salt call local test.ping. I don't know how good of a test that is. It just kind of test that it can ping itself. I guess it's more useful if you're on a master, I think. Okay, so we got a local test equals true. Okay, so I'm gonna kill this box to hopefully not use up resources. Okay, so now we're gonna do the Linux stuff. So as we go down this here, it says use the minor install instructions here. So I'm gonna open up that up in a new tab. And on the step where you normally insult the repository key, we're going to insert salt RC. So, all right, so we're going to go down. I've got an Ubuntu box running. I'm going to make this a little bigger so y'all can see. So, an SSH into it. Can everybody see my prompt there? I hope it's big enough. Do I need to make it bigger?
I think it's good.
Looks good.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm click over to the Ubuntu instructions over here. All right, so it's the first step where you got to do this. So they have you curl down. I don't know. See, I'm not a Linux guy. That's why they asked me to do this. So I don't know, something about a key ring and stuff. So I'm going to use the instructions here and I'm going to do these. So just copy that one, run it over here. Bam. And then copy this one. This is a brand new box. I've never done anything on it. And let's do that one. Okay, so that's the instructions from there. Then I'm going to continue with this guide. And it says run sudo apt-get update. What's the difference between apt-get and apt? Does anybody know? So I always use apt. I didn't know. I just didn't like typing.
apt-get was around originally. Apt-get is the updated command.
Okay.
They
So that's,
basically do the same thing.
so we can see it pull down a salt RC stuff. So instead of salt, so that's what we want. Okay, so I'm going to install the master here. This is the longest part. This I actually did run through.
And Shane, Vic is saying that apt is a fancy front end to a bunch of different apt utilities. Apt can do both apt get install something and apt cache search something.
Oh. Well, I just noticed I didn't get that the same update when I did sudo apt update. I had to do apt get for some reason. Anyway, it could just be me. Okay, so just want to show that we've now installed a master. We have a master running. And the service is running and it's enabled. So it actually does all that. So you don't have to do this step here is what I'm saying. So now I'm going to install a minion, but before I do, well, no, I'll install the minion. Well, let me check first. I wanted to see if the config is over there. Let's see, salt minion. Okay, so I need to install it to get the config over there. This is pretty quick because it's most of the stuff's already installed with the master. Okay, so now we have a minion running and we can check the main service, see that it's started, it's running and it's enabled, but it's sitting there looking for a salt DNS entry instead of connecting to my master. So we're gonna modify the config. Now I've got a minion and we're just gonna add localhost here to have it connect to itself. And this is what was throwing me off yesterday, but now we have to restart the minion so that it picks up the new config. So we're going to restart the minion. And now I should see something in salt key. And I've got my unaccepted key there. I'm going to accept it. And now I should be able to ping it. Oh, we want to see a version we're at too. Make sure we got 3006 RC3. And there we are. I can continue if you want, and we can go through doing this using the bootstrap. Does anybody want to do that, or are we happy so far?
Well, we're happy so far, but if you think it's important and you're willing, then yeah, let's go for it.
Well, this is where we start running into some issues.
Okay.
That I'm happy to share.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, all right. So let me exit out of this and got to reset my little Ubuntu box here. So I have a checkpoint where it's just nothing. It's just brand new install. Let's restart it. Okay, so the issue is that the bootstrap script as it is right now doesn't really support the RC, but the one that will be released soon does. So we're going to follow those instructions. I'll show you how to do that. Until it's released, we'll have to do it this way. As soon as this gets up. Okay. All right, so now I'm back into a fresh box. Just to show you there's no minion running. Show you there's no master, nothing on this. Okay, so it says we're gonna do this one, if I understand, just installs the minion. This one installs a master, and this one installs a master without a minion. I think we want to do this one. Okay, so first I'm going to copy. I'll copy this, but I'm not going to run it because we need to use, just go get the raw data and get a link to the raw bootstrap script in the repo. So it's if you go to GitHub and find the script and then view the raw, and then you get the URL for it, it's this. So this will pull down that script, and then I can just run this just like it says. It gives me 10 seconds to cancel. I have no idea how to cancel. Is that Control-C probably?
Yep.
Am I doing all right? The Windows guy?
You're doing fantastic, man.
Thank you. It only took me an hour to figure out how to do this. I got it installed, but I couldn't figure out why I couldn't ping, but I had to restart my minion. So I was looking at firewalls. I don't know. I was digging everywhere I shouldn't have been.
No, I think this is going to be very helpful for people.
So if I understand this right, it's actually kind of doing a pip install, like it's cloning the repo down, and pip installing is how this one actually works. It's not a package. I think it's about done here. Okay, so installed. So now we've got, we've got 2 minions and the rest of the masters. So it's running. We look at the version. We're at the right version. And I am going to modify the config again and make a point to localhost. And then I have to restart the minion service. And then I should see it in Salt Key. And there it is. And then we'll do a test.ping. And we're connected. Whoops. Dang it. Yeah. All right. Anybody want to do it with pip? Or is this, have I gone on long enough?
I think we're probably pretty good. I think we've got the idea, unless anybody has any objections to that. No? All right, let's hear it for Shane Lee. Thanks, man.
I'd like to add
Good
one
stuff.
thing as a point of documentation for the pip. It has you run this yum install command, but you have to put Python 3 here and Python 3 there.
Gotcha.
This doesn't work. So Alyssa, we need to fix that. Oh, that'd be
Yeah.
Debbie. It's Python.
Good to know.
And what happens if you don't use the 3? Like, what does it do? Does it just not function, or
Yeah,
does,
you get a failure and it tries to, I think it tries to install a Python 2 version.
okay.
Yeah, there may be some operating systems where you've installed Python 3 in it and it added a symlink for Python. So that may your mileage may vary on that one.
Gotcha. Okay, very good. Well, thank you very much, Shane. Shane will be back, by the way, in just a few moments to play us out with a final message. But thanks, man. I really appreciate that. Okay, so next up, let me share the screen again. Or do we really need to? Next up is the Q&A. I don't really need to show you the Q&A slide, right? We get it. It's got some happy people in the corner working hard, doing good things, some bubbles. It's nice. So, okay, so Q&A section, what do we have? Is Nick here? Can we start with Nick or we start with Gary today? No, neither. It's open to anyone. It typically starts with Nick or Gary. So if you have some questions, let's do this. Not only about Shane's demo, but about anything. Anyone?
I just have more of a comment, although I've already been kind of talking with Gareth and I forget who else it was. On the RelM installing packages, it'd be useful to see some documentation. So there's a documentation on how to use RelM standalone. It would be useful to see some documentation and maybe even a demo on how to properly install packages with like binary pip packages with in a salt specific way. I know that's still kind of in flux because RelM is still iterating, but it would be useful from being able to test an RC perspective to have some examples specific to salt.
I'm writing it down, Gary. See if we can do that in a future open hour would be great. All right, fantastic.
So, Gary, did you see my last comment? This is DWAS. Did you see my last comment on that issue that you had filed?
I have not seen. I saw the one where you kind of acknowledged my rant. I did not see if I've not unless that's the one you're talking about.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one I'm talking about. So, we believe we have a path forward to alleviate your concerns there. Essentially, what we're aiming for is making it as easy as if you were using a virtual environment to install those packages. So when you do the pip install, provided you have the system level dependencies installed, then it should just work for you rather than having to do anything extra.
That would be super, super, super awesome.
Cool. So that is the path we're pursuing right now.
And sorry, do we expect that to be the case before 3006 is released, or is that going to?
It'll be in 3006.
Awesome sauce.
Also, along with that, Aaron has just posted in the chat, says to go along with that comment, we also need to install Boto 3 to be able to run some AWS modules for setup to pull files from S3. Comments, thoughts?
Yeah, Boto 3 should work the same way any other package will. We're still in the development on those pieces. We're about a week out, I think, from having those in place. So by the next open hour, we should have some solid stuff there.
I believe the
Excellent.
question was more related to Boto 3 not being present. And if that is the question, Boto 3 is not a hard dependency on salt. And so you will have to pip install it to be able to do the things that you need and pick and get the files that you need. If you do that in a salt state and issue a reload before running anything depending on that, you should be fine to run that state tree. It would install Boto 3 and then continue and utilize what you had.
Seems like maybe Aaron wants a demo of installing Boto 3 with salt, or maybe even like the scenario that Pedro was just describing.
We can do that as well.
Yeah, so my concern was more around a special setup for installing uh pip binary packages that required compiling, because currently it's a bunch of hacks. It wasn't I mean, salt, if it's going to be just salt pip in general and install the same way you might install the package with pip, as long as you have the system libraries in place, then I probably don't need a demo. Although if anyone would like to see a demo for that, so much the better.
All right. Good stuff. Anything else?
I was gonna say it might be a good idea for one of us just to show a demo of using salt pip, just because it is slightly different than just using regular pip. And as well as like the salt states, just like the differences of installing, if you wanted to install into the Wonder Relevant environment versus onto the system. There's some like slight differences there.
Anyone else? Anything else on this? Any new questions? Oh, easy day today. I chalk up the easy day to the beautiful demo we got. Every question was answered. It was like butter.
It was a mighty fine demo.
I think it was, absolutely. All right, any questions? No questions? Going once, going twice. All right, Shane, if you would, sir, play us out.
Well, I got two, because the first one people may have heard, but I went to a concert recently. It only cost me 45 cents. It was 50 Cent and Nickelback.
That would have been quite a show. That's good stuff.
Then I was, eBay is just, eBay kind of sucks lately. I was trying to buy a lighter, and all I could find was 190,000 plus matches.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Shane Lee, the star of the show.
eBay doesn't really suck. I don't want to get sued or get Salt in trouble.
Yeah, no, you're fine. You're fine. All right, a reminder for you, next open hour happens on April 20th. In the meantime, be sure to hit us up on Slack, the Salt Project community Slack channels. And let's do some RC3 testing, will you? These guys need it. Thanks to everyone who's watching live and watching on YouTube. We'll see you on the next one. Bye, everybody.